So I know it's only been about 2 weeks since I uploaded my spider tour, but a lot of new things have happened in the collection, including 5 new spiders and a lot of rehousings, so let's get right into the video. So we're going to start off with the new tarantulas, and these 3 slings arrived shortly after I uploaded the tour. So I have 2 Cormiocanemus tropics and a Selenotypus glenalva, and these were in exchange for my mature male sea tropics. So I shipped him over to my inverts and I got these 3 in return. And an update on my male, if you watch the packing video or the unboxing video of these 3. So my inverts actually tried breeding my male with one of his females, and long story short, it did not end well, and now my male has only 6 legs when he should have 8. So basically the female tried to eat him, and my inverts actually had to rescue my male, so that's good, at least he's still alive. But let's have a look at the 3 slings I got in return. Okay, so this one on the top here is my Selenotypus glenalva sling, and as you can see, it's pretty tiny. It's made this little burrow for itself, and I'll open the enclosure. This is just sort of a vial with some holes in the lid, which is very important for ventilation, as you can see. So it's actually laid down a layer of web, which is pretty cool. You can see around the burrow there. This one has eaten, I think, 2 or 3 woodies in my care. I'll pop a video of it eating in right now. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that feeding clip. Hopefully it was exciting. And the one under it, it's in this massive enclosure, but for no particular reason. It's just the only one I had available at the time. So you can see it's actually utilised the depth of the enclosure. It's made this massive burrow that sort of snakes down to the side. You can see the tarantulas down there. It's not much bigger than the glenalva. So yeah, that's made a pretty cool burrow, and that one has eaten lots of woodies. So I will put in another feeding clip of that one. Hope you enjoyed that. But the last sling in this sort of group is another sea tropic, so I'll just open the enclosure. This one I've actually had to rehouse. It was in a cup. I'll try to see if I still have it. Yeah, I do. It's over here. It's got some moss in it. But it was in this, and there was no ventilation, so it started getting a bit moldy. So I put it in this cup, which has some holes in the top. It is still pretty moist in there, but the tarantula should be fine. You can see it right there, hiding in the moss. That one actually hasn't eaten so far, but I'm sure it'll do well. Okay, so now we'll move on to the other 2 new tarantulas. Okay, so this is the first one of 2. It's a Phlogius PQ113. It's 7 centimeters. So this is a juvenile. I'll try to get the enclosure open. So this one has also eaten a couple meals in my care. It's webbed up the sticks pretty nicely, but not as heavy as my Cuttable, of course. You can see it's actually started to make a burrow, but it's not really using it. So that one has some beautiful colours. I'll pop a photo of it when it arrived. Yeah, so you can see how it's kind of bluish, and I'll also put in a video of it eating a woody. Okay, hope you enjoyed that feeding clip. As you can see, this enclosure is pretty simple, just got some moss, a pumice stone and some sticks. But I've also got a water dish, which is another one of the experiments I've been doing. So I'll just show you some of my other spiders. You may have noticed it in my Cuttables enclosure. So I've got these bottle caps full of water in most of my Phlogius. So you can see in my Hirsutus and Harmstrenus. And here, there's one in my Selenotypus exavale. So I will actually go over these in detail because I've rehoused most of these actually. So before I forget, I'll show you the last new spider. This was actually free from when I ordered the PQ113. It's a Selenotypus Wallace juvenile, and you can see it's right at the top of its burrow, but as soon as I try to open the enclosure, oh, it's actually not running away. So we might be able to open it. Let me just get the other side. Oh, okay, there it goes. So the enclosure didn't want to open, and that resulted in the spider running down its burrow. So that actually goes down all the way to the bottom of the enclosure, which is pretty cool. That one has eaten in my care, but only off camera, so unfortunately I don't have a video of it. But let's move on to the fresh rehousings. So of course we have the new tarantulas, which I've already gone over. But I will show you Speedy, my Strenus, as the first rehousing. So in the last video, it was in one of these containers with a screw top lid, and it's since been rehoused into one of these small critter keepers with a water dish, as I showed before. And you can see it's made a nice little web in the corner of the enclosure around the stick that I put in, and it's actually stopped eating for quite a while, but it did actually take a Woody off camera yesterday, which is a bit weird. But you can see it's sort of hiding in there. The abdomen is pretty large, so I'm expecting it to molt within the next couple of weeks, hopefully, because then it'll start eating again. Below it, we have two of my huntsman spiders, which I rehoused. So this is Rocky, my cave huntsman, and Zenvo, the Murray banded huntsman, which is under there. So that they're doing pretty well. And the most fresh rehouse, which was done a couple of days ago, is Twig, my Phlogius hirsutus. That's webbed up the pre-made burrow, and it's actually made a little window on the other side. I think you can see some legs in there. And that one actually came out last night, which was pretty cool. I'll pop up a photo of that. Yeah, so that one actually is pretty large. And below it, we have the second to last rehouse, which is my Selenotypus exivale, the mature female. And in the last video, it was in a much bigger enclosure, but that actually started to mold. So I've transitioned it into this one, which is a much better size. And I've given it this sort of fake log hide. And it's just in there, you can see the abdomen. That's another one with a water dish. So, and you can also see I've moistened down the substrate in the corner. So I'll just put Twig back on top of that enclosure before I move on to the next one. So the last spider that's going to be featured in this video is Rambo, my Selenotypus champagne robustus. And I put her in this enclosure because the old one, the substrate was way too dry and it actually came in from the side of the enclosure. So you can see she's made this massive burrow. It starts there, then it goes all the way down, but that's not it. keeps going, and it ends right there. So she's almost done a full 360 around the enclosure, but the most exciting part is I've actually gotten some feeding clips of her in the burrow. So I'll play one of those now. Okay, hope you enjoyed that feeding clip, and that's the end of this video. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.